Over millions of years of evolution, humans have never stopped exploring and conquering even the most uninhabitable lands. In the technological age, when modern machines have replaced up to 70% of human labor, our intelligence, creativity, and ability to adapt in the face of adversity have proven to be limitless. Today's video will take you to witness some of the most extraordinary harvests on the planet, from harsh, unforgiving landscapes to state-of-the-art mechanized farms, and see how millions of farmers around the world turn challenges into opportunities, producing billions of tons of crops that sustain humanity each year. You might not know this, but right in the heart of land, once seething with lava and ash, now lie hills blanketed with hundreds of hectares of lush green vineyards. On Mount Etna in Italy, where volcanic eruptions once swallowed entire valleys, people still resiliently cultivate grapes, producing over 15,000 tons each year, with an estimated value exceeding $120 million USD. Without the need for modern machinery, they rely on stones, ash, and skilled hands to build dry stone walls to hold the soil, dig deep holes, mix organic fertilizer with volcanic ash, and carefully plant each vine. At altitudes of 400 to 800 meters above sea level, the grapevines cling tightly to the basalt ash soil, a natural black gold that retains moisture, drains well, and nourishes deep roots. Thanks to the brilliant southwestern sunlight during the day and the temperature differences at night, each grape cluster ripens slowly, developing a rich flavor with a perfect balance of sweetness and acidity. After 3 years of nurturing, when the first clusters swell with early morning dew, the harvest begins. Grapes are picked at dawn, while dew still clings to each bunch, preserving freshness and natural aroma. Harvesters use specialized scissors to gently cut each cluster at the stem, ensuring the skins remain unblemished. Once baskets are full, they are loaded onto the backs of horses or donkeys to be carried to the edge of the fields, because on these steep slopes, trucks cannot reach. The freshly picked grapes are then transported to the winery. Here, the grapes are washed in cold water, pressed hydraulically, naturally fermented, and aged in oak barrels, transforming into Etna Dock wine, priced up to 20 times higher than ordinary wines. From volcanic ash, the people of Etna have created a nectar that the world raises a glass to, a testament that even in places once ravaged by destruction, life and enduring beauty can emerge. Farewell to Etna and its vineyards grown on volcanic soil. Let's explore one of the cold region's most extraordinary delicacies, frozen apples, which are 3 times sweeter and 10 times more expensive than regular ones. Instead of harvesting on schedule, farmers in Aomori, Japan, leave the apples hanging on the trees until December. There, the natural snow blanket acts as a cold coat, causing the water inside the fruit to crystallize while concentrating its sugars and aroma. After enduring several weeks of sub-zero temperatures, the apples turn a deep crimson, becoming intensely sweet and fragrant, a flavor only the harshness of winter can create. Meanwhile, in South Korea and Canada, frozen apples are produced using an artificial snow aging method. Apples are harvested at the proper time, then buried under a half-meter layer of snow for nearly 2 months. Before being covered, hundreds of crates of apples are wrapped in plastic sheets, neatly stacked in rows, and topped with a layer of dry leaves to retain moisture and insulate them. A key step that keeps the fruit from freezing solid, allowing it to soft freeze naturally. Finally, the apples are completely covered with snow, and by February, when temperatures stabilize, the crates are opened to reveal apples at the peak of sweetness and aroma. Though the annual yield is only a few thousand tons, these snow-aged apples have become a high-value agricultural product, a testament to how humans can turn nature's harshness into something uniquely rewarding. About 90% of the world's dates come from the scorching dry belt stretching from North Africa to South Asia, where the desert sun burns so fiercely that the sand itself seems to catch fire. Yet thousands of farmers still climb palm trees towering over 10 meters high to harvest the region's most vital crop, dates. In Egypt, date harvesting is considered one of the most dangerous jobs. Workers rely only on a few ropes, their bare feet, and a simple knife. Under the blazing desert heat and at dizzying heights, they wrap ropes around the tree trunk, climbing meter by meter to reach the ripe clusters near the top, cutting while struggling to keep their balance on the slippery bark. Though safety belts, helmets, and non-slip shoes are recommended, most still work under harsh conditions with meager pay, a stark contrast to the millions of dollars the date industry generates. Today, on large-scale farms, automated lifting machines have become the helping hands that ease labor burdens and boost harvest efficiency. The lifts can extend up to 20 meters, allowing workers to access date clusters more quickly, safely, and precisely, increasing productivity by up to 10 times compared to manual methods. Despite the high investment cost, the improved safety and efficiency make this an inevitable step forward in the modernization of desert agriculture. As a key product in the organic food industry, the demand for kale has surged in recent years, fueled by the global wave of healthy eating and green living. In the Netherlands, the capital of high-tech agriculture in Europe, where endless fields of vegetables stretch to the horizon, ploger kale harvesters have become the silent heroes of the season. With an impressive capacity of up to 15 tons of kale per hour, these machines can cut, collect, clean, and load the leaves into storage bins in a single pass. At the front, a dual-blade cutting system glides close to the ground, gently separating leaves from stems without bruising them. A central conveyor belt immediately lifts the kale upward, passing it through an air-blowing system that removes soil and debris before transferring it straight into the rear storage compartment, all operated automatically with near-perfect precision. Thanks to mechanization, harvesting time has been reduced by up to 80%, and productivity has multiplied compared to manual labor. Each year, the Netherlands alone produces hundreds of thousands of tons of kale, supplying both the European market and the global organic vegetable industry. With over 2 million tons of pineapples exported each year to major markets such as the United States, Japan, and Europe, Costa Rica has earned its title as the world's largest pineapple producer, accounting for nearly 70% of the global supply of fresh pineapples. As harvest season begins, farmers walk along perfectly aligned pineapple rows, carefully observing the fruit's golden hue, the size of its eyes, and the aroma at the stem before making a single cut. If picked too early, the fruit lacks sweetness. Too late, and its soft skin becomes prone to bruising during transport. Each slice of the knife, therefore, demands experience, precision, and meticulous judgment from skilled harvesters. Once cut, pineapples are placed into large plastic baskets, but instead of carrying them over long distances as in the past, workers now rely on harvesting trucks equipped with horizontal conveyor belts. With belts stretching over 20 meters along the rows, pickers simply place the pineapples gently onto the moving line, which carries them directly to collection bins at the rear of the vehicle. A process that's faster, safer, and reduces manual labor by up to 80%, while boosting productivity fivefold compared to traditional hand-picking methods. With over 9 million tons consumed each year, strawberries are not only one of the world's most beloved fruits, but also one of the most delicate to harvest, as 90% of global production still relies on hand-picking. Their fragile skin, soft stems, and susceptibility to bruising make mechanized harvesting nearly impossible. Human hands remain the only way to preserve each berry's flavor, vivid red color, and pristine quality. Amid lush green rows, farmers gently lift each strawberry, twist it slightly, and snap it off the stem. A motion that seems simple, but demands absolute precision and a delicate touch. Once the baskets are full, the berries are immediately transported to a pre-cooling station, a race against time to preserve their freshness, bright hue, and natural sweetness. Yet inside high-tech greenhouses, autonomous robotic arms are beginning to take over, representing the cutting edge of modern agriculture. Equipped with AI multispectral cameras and 3D sensors, these robots can detect ripeness based on color tone and surface gloss, then use soft grippers to gently pick each berry and place it into trays. Though the investment cost is steep, over $300,000 for a fully equipped robotics system, this bold innovation marks a significant leap toward a new era of intelligent and fully automated agriculture. Every October, the leek harvest season in France reaches its peak. Across the fields of Flanders in northern France, specialized harvesters from brands like Simon and Verhustmark operate at full capacity, bringing in thousands of tons each season. Hydraulic cutting blades slice deep into the soil, while dual gripping arms pull entire plants from the ground in one swift motion. Immediately afterward, a shaking system removes soil from the roots before the leeks are lifted onto an inclined conveyor belt and slides straight into the collection bins. Some machines even feature a circular conveyor that automatically rotates and unloads the produce into collection trucks, allowing continuous, uninterrupted harvesting. In the Netherlands and Germany, large farms employ fully autonomous harvesters, capable of cutting, pulling, shaking, washing, and even pre-sorting leeks directly on the machine frame, reducing manual labor by up to 60%. And cutting post-harvest handling time in half. As a culinary symbol of the cold season, leeks are increasingly popular across Europe. Thanks to full mechanization, the region now harvests over 800,000 tons each season, meeting domestic demand while optimizing costs amid rising labor expenses. The giant orange harvesters made by Oxbow and Gregoire are transforming industrial orange farms across the United States, Spain, and Australia. Standing over 4 meters tall and stretching up to 10 meters long, these steel-framed machines are equipped with high-frequency shaker rods on both sides. They rhythmically shake, dislodge, and catch the fruit, separating ripe oranges from branches without damaging the canopy. In just a single pass, the machine can swallow an entire row of trees, harvesting up to 95% of ripe fruit with a loss rate of less than 5%. The fallen oranges are immediately caught by deep-grooved rubber catchers and conveyor belts beneath the trees, which transport them through a continuous belt system into a 4-ton collection bin. Once full, sensors automatically trigger the transfer of fruit to a parallel trailer, keeping the entire process closed-loop, continuous, and spotless. As a result, productivity increases 8 to 10 times compared to manual picking, while cutting labor costs by up to 70%. Thanks to these mechanical giants, large-scale farms can now harvest tens of thousands of tons of oranges each season, ushering the citrus industry into a new era of automation. However, with each machine costing over $350,000 and requiring precisely aligned orchard layouts, this technology is currently most common in specialized juice-producing regions, such as California, Valencia, and Queensland, where mechanization has become a survival standard for modern agriculture. This massive army is the force behind nearly 300 million tons of sugar beets harvested every year across the globe. On vast fields stretching thousands of hectares across Europe and the United States, giant machines like Ropa, Holmer, and Vervaet operate like mobile factories in the middle of farmland. As the machine enters the field, a set of high-speed rotating knives at the front swiftly slices off the green tops. Immediately after, the lifting wheels and digging shafts penetrate the soil, gently extracting each beet from the heavy earth. The beets are then carried onto vibrating conveyors and rotating rollers, where soil, stones, and excess roots are removed, before traveling through multiple conveyor levels and finally being dumped into a massive holding tank with a capacity of up to 40 tons. Thanks to this continuous operation system, each machine can harvest over 1 hectare in just 30 minutes, equivalent to hundreds of tons per day, dozens of times faster than manual labor. Once full, the long unloading conveyor transfers the beets into adjacent trucks, forming a closed-loop harvesting chain, a symbol of advanced mechanized agriculture and the backbone of the global sugar industry. The Oxbow BH100 bean harvester was born to conquer small fields, narrow paths, and complex terrains. Compact yet powerful, it features a dual-blade cutting system that slices clean at the roots, high-speed vibrating drums that separate the pods, and a continuous inclined conveyor that swiftly gathers the harvest in one smooth pass. Fresh beans travel along ribbed rubber belts straight into the rear-mounted collection bins, while stems, leaves, and debris are neatly discharged to the side. Fast, clean, and decisively efficient. But on industrial-scale farms spanning hundreds of hectares, true supremacy belongs to the giants of the field, the mighty combine harvesters, capable of processing up to 25 tons of beans per hour. Operating like mobile factories across the fields, these machines use ultra-wide cutter bars to swallow entire rows in one go, with dual counter-rotating drums that gently separate the pods. A powerful upper airflow continuously clears out leaves and twigs, leaving only bright, uniform, and intact beans behind. When the storage tank fills, the system automatically lifts and unloads the beans into trailers in mere seconds. Seamless, time-saving, and up to 5 times more efficient, boosting productivity by over 400%. Thanks to such technology, large-scale farms across Europe and North America now harvest hundreds of thousands of tons of premium fresh beans each year, far surpassing the limits of traditional manual labor. A resounding testament to the spectacular rise of modern global agriculture. More than 90% of the seaweed available on the market today is still harvested mainly by hand. Natural seaweed typically clings tightly to rocks in the intertidal zone, areas where the tide rises and falls each day, leaving behind dense bands of seaweed. Harvesters use small knives or sickles to cut the upper part of the plant, leaving the root firmly attached to the rock for the next season. A crucial technique that allows the beds to regenerate naturally without replanting. Usually, they cut about 5 to 10 centimeters above the base to avoid damaging the young, growing tissue. Experienced harvesters can easily tell when the seaweed has matured just enough for optimal yield and quality, with thicker, crisp fronds, a darker color, and a higher natural gelatin content. Harvesting wild seaweed is a demanding task that requires both skill and endurance. Workers must follow the rhythm of the tides, rising before dawn, wading over slippery rocks in cold surf, and working quickly before the sea returns to reclaim the shore. Seaweed is not only the green vegetable of the ocean, but also a true superfood, packed with over 60 types of minerals, vitamins, and rare amino acids. Some species can even absorb up to 20 times more CO2 than land plants, helping to combat climate change and protect the planet's future. Let's step away from the salty breeze of the ocean and into the dense tropical rainforests of West Africa, a region that supplies over 42% of the world's cocoa. Though cocoa is the soul of a multi-billion-dollar industry, its harvest journey is anything but sweet. Mechanization has long been considered, yet the complex biology of the cacao tree, combined with the region's humid, uneven rainforest terrain, has made it nearly impossible. Today, about 95% of all cocoa is still harvested entirely by hand, by tropical farmers earning barely $1 a day. Under the harsh equatorial sun, farmers weave through the shade of cacao trees, using sharp, curved knives to cut each pod with precision, careful not to damage the stem, allowing the tree to bloom again next season. The bright orange pods are gathered into wicker baskets and carried on their shoulders across muddy, slippery slopes to the collection sites. There, the pods are split open to reveal the wet, white beans inside, which are then fermented under banana leaves for 3 to 5 days, a delicate process that defines the chocolate's fragrance and its subtle, bittersweet taste. With over 8 million tons of cocoa produced each year, these calloused hands continue, day after day, to trade sweat and endurance for the sweet flavor cherished by the world. In May, amid the tiered tea hills of Shizuoka, Japan, the rhythm of the harvest begins to stir. Mechanical cranes lift rolls of black netting, gliding smoothly over rows of tender tea bushes to drape them in a thin veil that shields them from the harsh sun. For 10 to 30 days of shading, the plants reduce photosynthesis, retaining more L-theanine and chlorophyll, the secret behind the jade-green color and signature umami taste of premium sencha, kabusecha, and matcha. When the shading period ends, Valiant and Maruyama tea harvesters roar to life. Their parallel blades skim just above the canopy, slicing the delicate top shoots only a few millimeters thick. Suction fans lift the freshly cut leaves onto conveyors, evenly blowing them into mesh bags on both sides. Meanwhile, GPS sensors and canopy height monitors automatically adjust blade height and cutting speed to match every subtle curve of the tea rows. Everything unfolds in flawless precision, a harmony of technology, human craftsmanship, and nature itself. In Shizuoka, where every leaf is handled with care, technique, and pride, the Japanese are not merely harvesting tea, they are cultivating perfection, leaf by leaf. As a staple ingredient in Western cuisine, the world harvests more than 8 million tons of asparagus each year using a variety of methods. Yet in many countries, manual harvesting remains the dominant approach. Despite its high value, asparagus is one of the most demanding crops to harvest, requiring precision, timing, and patience. Farmers carry specialized harvesting knives, long, thin steel blades, sharpened to perfection. They gently part the soil by hand, locate each spear with care, and make a swift, clean cut just a few centimeters above the crown to avoid damaging the tender shoots below, the lifeline for the next harvest. There are only a few golden hours each day for cutting. Any delay, even by minutes, can mean losing the entire yield. Priced at over $400,000, these advanced harvesters are mainly found in Germany, the Netherlands, and the United States. Though not yet widespread, they represent a technological breakthrough, a glimpse into a new era of precision and sustainable agriculture. Drive-through raspberry harvesters, such as the Oxbow 7420 and Litau harvester, have become the standard across the United States, Canada, and much of Europe. These machines are purpose-built for high-density, straight-row raspberry farms, where hand-picking is nearly impossible due to vast acreage and heavy yields. Their operation relies on a dual centrifugal shaker system mounted on either side of the machine. As it moves slowly down the rows, soft, rotating rods or brushes gently vibrate the plants, causing ripe berries to fall into collection trays without breaking branches or bruising the fruit. Beneath the canopy, a series of moving conveyors swiftly gathers the berries, passing them through a primary cooling and coarse sorting system, which preserves freshness even during long hours of continuous operation under the sun. Compared to manual picking, these harvesters deliver 5 to 8 times higher productivity, dramatically reducing labor costs while ensuring consistent fruit quality for industrial processing. More than just fruit picking machines, they represent a leap in agricultural engineering, freeing human labor and standardizing the entire modern raspberry industry. Kiwi, the elegant fruit and national symbol of New Zealand, grows on trellised vines nearly 2 meters high, forcing pickers to work with their heads tilted back, arms raised, and shoulders straining beneath dense foliage. How long, one might wonder, can they gaze upward at those clusters of kiwi fruit before their necks and backs begin to protest? Each perfectly ripened kiwi is hand-picked with care to avoid bruising. Even the slightest scratch can downgrade an entire batch. A skilled picker can harvest up to 1,000 fruits per hour, moving with practiced precision, as if born for the task. In the high-tech orchards of Hawke's Bay and the Bay of Plenty, autonomous harvesting robots are gradually taking over. Guided by advanced imaging sensors and vacuum suction arms, they identify ripe fruit and detach it gently from the stem without a single blemish. This blend of human craftsmanship and machine intelligence has propelled New Zealand's kiwi industry to global leadership, where every fruit is not only harvested by diligent hands, but with the flawless precision of modern technology. The vast army of giant combine harvesters stretching across the American Midwest is the driving force behind hundreds of millions of tons of soybeans each year. Here, soybeans are not just a crop. They are an economic engine powered by advanced mechanization. Massive machines from John Deere, Case IH, and New Holland can harvest over 50 tons per hour, working non-stop across fields that span thousands of hectares. Equipped with GPS-guided automation, yield sensors, and intelligent cabins, these machines optimize every route, minimize losses, and save fuel. Thanks to this technological might, the United States remains the world's largest producer and exporter of soybeans, meeting the immense global demand for food, cooking oil, and biofuel. Across the Pacific, however, Japan has taken a very different approach. Compact Kubota and Yanmar soybean harvesters, standing barely 1.5 meters tall, are a fraction of the size of their American counterparts. The reason lies in Japan's small, fragmented farmlands, where agility matters more than brute force. While their output can't match the industrial scale of US harvesters, Japanese machines excel in precision, efficiency, and care, consuming less fuel and causing minimal damage to nearby crops. It's a reflection of Japan's hallmark philosophy of lean efficiency, where technology serves not to dominate the land, but to work in harmony with it. Every October and November, the pecan groves of Georgia and Texas come alive with a thunderous tremor, the arrival of shaking harvesters, the steel arms of this billion-dollar agricultural industry. These massive machines, weighing nearly 5 tons, are equipped with hydraulic arms over 3 meters long, ending in specialized rubber clamps that grip the trunk of each tree. When activated, the arm shakes violently for just a few seconds, enough to make thousands of ripe pecans rain down without damaging branches or roots. Immediately after, sweeper and harvester units roll in, sweeping the orchard floor clean. They suck up scattered nuts, separate leaves and shells, and funnel a steady stream of gleaming pecans into storage bins at the rear. Thanks to this fully mechanized chain, productivity has increased 8-fold compared to manual picking, saving thousands of labor hours while maintaining consistent quality. The result? The United States now produces about 123,000 tons of pecans annually, accounting for over 80% of global output and firmly holding its place as the world's leading pecan producer and exporter. Rolling across vast cucumber fields spanning hundreds of hectares are the green giants, Vogel V6 harvesters, the pride of North American agricultural engineering. With their massive steel frames and advanced automated harvesting systems, each Vogel V6 operates like a machine of pure precision. At the front, an integrated grabbing, cutting, rolling mechanism gently lifts each cucumber plant from the soil without bruising the fruit, then feeds it onto the central conveyor. Inside the machine, screening and pre-cleaning systems work in perfect rhythm before the cucumbers are unloaded into storage bins and transferred to transport trucks, all within minutes. Each Vogel V6 can harvest 20 to 30 tons of cucumbers per hour, up to 50 times faster than manual labor, drastically cutting labor costs and optimizing harvest time. Every year, regions like Ontario and Michigan, which have fully embraced mechanized agriculture with state-of-the-art Vogel harvesters, produce over 200,000 tons of cucumbers, meeting the massive demand of the food processing and export industries across North America. These green giants do more than boost productivity. They are shaping the future of smart farming, where efficiency, precision, and sustainability have become the new standards of modern agriculture. These combined harvesters are specialized for sunflower crops, boasting a capacity of over 10 tons per hour. Engineered to do what humans simply cannot, harvest hundreds of hectares in a single day without losing a single seed. At the front is the sunflower header, a precision steel jaw equipped with narrow intake fingers that gently support each heavy flower head and slice cleanly at the base, using a high-speed rotating shaft. The stalks are drawn into the threshing chamber, where a rotating drum and a stream of compressed air separate the seeds from the flower discs through centrifugal force, sending them straight to the sieves and air fans for cleaning. Each glossy black seed is separated, filtered, and collected into the rear grain tank, all within a closed, fast, and impeccably precise cycle. Compared to manual harvesting, these mechanical giants boost productivity by up to 6 times, reduce losses by as much as 40%, and are widely used across Ukraine, Russia, and Argentina, the sunflower kingdoms of the world. More than just machines, they've become symbols of modern agriculture, where mechanical power and automation technology work hand in hand to elevate the global sunflower oil industry to a value of tens of billions of dollars each year. Cantaloupe, the cousin of watermelon, yet richer in aroma and sweetness with its juicy orange flesh, is among the most valuable crops grown under the sun-drenched skies of California and Arizona. From June to September, when the melons take on their signature golden hue, the sweetest harvest season of the year officially begins. To preserve peak ripeness and natural flavor, many farms still rely on traditional hand-picking methods, selecting only the perfectly matured fruits and cutting them gently to avoid bruising the delicate rind. But on farms spanning hundreds of hectares, mobile conveyor harvesters have become the extended arms of human labor. Dozens of workers move along the rows, cutting the melons and placing them on a continuously moving conveyor belt, where color and size sensors instantly sort them right in the field. Thanks to these intelligent mechanical harvesters, farmers can now gather over 25 tons of cantaloupes per day, dramatically shortening harvest time, multiplying productivity, and satisfying the summer craving for sweetness across the US, Canada, and Japan. Say goodbye to the sunlit fields and step down into the cool, damp cellars of Belgium, where people grow vegetables without sunlight. Sounds strange, doesn't it? Yet, in that absolute darkness, Pale ivory endive shoots quietly thrive, crisp and delicately bitter, harvested with meticulous care and precision in every slice. Today, in modern facilities, this delicate task is aided by the rotary disc cutter, an indispensable helper in the final stage of production. A large rotating disc divided into compartments holds each root horizontally in place. As the disc spins, every root passes a razor-sharp blade positioned exactly at the joint between the stem and the bud, slicing cleanly without harming the fragile young leaves above. The entire process runs continuously and precisely, with each rotation handling 4 to 6 roots. Once separated, the endive buds gently drop into a collection chute, then move onto a sorting conveyor, where workers remove any loose or misshapen heads, ensuring that only these masterpieces of darkness are allowed to step into the light. Each year, Belgium harvests over 110,000 tons of endive, accounting for the majority of Europe's production, cementing its status as the world's leading endive producer, where these ivory buds have become a true symbol of Belgian agricultural pride. October, in California's Central Valley, a fruit long seen as a symbol of prosperity, the pomegranate enters its peak harvest season. But unlike its mechanized cousins like oranges or apples, more than 90% of the world's pomegranates are still harvested by hand, because no machine has yet mastered the delicate touch needed to handle their fragile, thin skins. Each worker wields a pair of specialized pruning shears, cutting close to the stem and gently placing the fruit into a basket carried on their back. Twisting or pulling is strictly forbidden. Even the smallest tear can oxidize the glossy red rind, rendering the fruit unfit for export. Once the heavy baskets are filled, they are loaded onto trucks and transported to the processing facility, where each pomegranate is washed, polished, and graded by size before being packed for export. On large-scale farms, harvesting conveyors are now used to gently transfer the fruit from the picker's hands to collection bins, minimizing bruising and increasing efficiency by over 30%. This seamless collaboration between human hands and mechanical arms has helped California's farmers produce more than 250,000 tons of pomegranates each year, making the United States one of the world's leading suppliers of premium quality pomegranates. Around the same time, in the land of the rising sun, the persimmon harvest season bursts into color, painting the hillsides in brilliant shades of orange and red. Depending on the variety and intended use, harvesting methods differ. For crisp persimmons with thicker skins, farmers use long poles to gently shake the branches, letting the fruits fall softly onto mats laid beneath, without a single bruise. But for soft varieties with skins as delicate as silk, where even a touch can leave a mark, pickers must climb ladders, carefully snip each fruit with specialized shears, and place them gently into foam-lined baskets to preserve their flawless appearance. On old trees towering 6 to 7 meters high, the task becomes even more challenging. Each precise cut must be made with absolute care to avoid damaging the fruit. After harvesting, the persimmons are divided into 2 main types: crisp persimmons sold fresh, and astringent ones destined to become hoshigaki, Japan's famous dried persimmons, hung for weeks in the autumn air until the skin wrinkles and the flesh turns honey-sweet. From these fiery orchards of autumn, Japan produces over 200,000 tons of persimmons each year, turning this fragile fruit into a symbol of patience, craftsmanship, and pride in Japanese agriculture. Sorghum harvesting in the United States is a spectacular display of mechanized power, where technology and human skill come together in a grand symphony of modern agriculture. After 3 to 4 months of growth, vast fields of crimson-red sorghum across the central and southern states reach their golden harvest season. Leading the charge are high-tech combine harvesters equipped with GPS and artificial intelligence. They sweep across the fields like steel war chariots, slicing through dense stalks with speed and pinpoint precision. Automatic sensors continuously adjust cutting depth and speed, allowing the machines to adapt seamlessly to changing terrain, gathering every single grain into massive storage tanks without a trace of loss. Once the grain is collected, the remaining stalks, known as stover, are processed right on site. Baling machines crush and compress the stalks into uniform hay bales, which are then transported to farms as high-fiber feed for cattle and sheep during the winter months. Thanks to this fully mechanized and closed-loop system, productivity can exceed 10 tons per hour, reducing labor demands while maximizing efficiency. Sorghum harvesting is more than just a season. It's a powerful testament to the strength, ingenuity, and enduring spirit of modern American agriculture. Chickpeas, the tiny, protein-rich legumes that give life to dishes like hummus and falafel, have also become a symbol of sustainable agriculture in the United States. Across the vast fields stretching from Washington to Montana, harvest season begins when the pods turn pale yellow, signaling the perfect moment to awaken the nutrients drawn from the earth. The giants of the field, combine harvesters, are once again at work, but when it comes to chickpeas, they move with far greater delicacy than when handling tougher crops like grain sorghum. Instead of slicing rapidly at high speed, the machine's cutting blades and threshing drums are precisely calibrated to prevent cracks or splits in the fragile seeds, which are highly sensitive due to their thin shells and high moisture content. Thanks to advanced sensors and automation technology, each machine can harvest dozens of hectares per day, ensuring the chickpeas retain their perfect round shape, pale beige color, and smooth texture, the gold standard for food processing. After harvesting, the chickpeas are cleaned, dried, and either packed for sale or processed into hummus, chickpea flour, or pasta, while substandard seeds are repurposed as nutritious animal feed. Every year, the United States harvests over 650,000 tons of peaches, accounting for about 15% of the world's total production. Yet behind that enormous number isn't the roar of machines, it's the gentle touch of human hands. Even today, most peaches are still harvested entirely by hand, in a process that demands remarkable care and precision in every movement. Timing is everything. Growers must capture the golden moment. When the skin turns a soft blush of pink-orange, the flesh yields slightly to pressure, and the fruit's fragrance fills the air. Pick too early, and the flavor is dull. Too late, and the fruit becomes overly soft and bruises easily. That's why, from the break of dawn, hundreds of workers move through the orchard canopies, gently twisting each peach, cutting close to the stem, and placing it carefully into baskets. Even a single rough motion can scratch the delicate, silk-like skin and ruin its export value. The workforce is made up mostly of local and seasonal migrant laborers, many of whom have carried on this craft for generations. As they harvest, they also sort. Flawless peaches are sent for fresh sale, while bruised or overripe ones go to processing plants to be turned into jam, puree, or juice, ensuring that almost no fruit goes to waste. The American peach harvest is more than just agricultural labor. It's a ritual of patience, finesse, and harmony with nature, where every ripe peach becomes a testament to the meticulous spirit and quiet pride of U.S. farming. Truffle mushrooms, among the rarest on Earth, with an annual yield of only about 200 tons, are symbols of luxury and mystery in the culinary world. Hidden deep underground, they grow only when tree roots, moisture, soil pH, and climate reach perfect harmony, making every gram worth its weight in black gold, fetching thousands of dollars per pound. In the US, Oregon is the truffle capital, thanks to its dense hazelnut and Douglas fir forests, while California and Washington are emerging as promising new regions. To uncover these treasures beneath the soil, people rely on truffle hunting pigs and dogs. Female pigs have an incredible sense of smell, but tend to eat their finds, so dogs, especially Lagotto Romagnolo and Labrador Retrievers, have become the preferred partners. When a dog pinpoints the spot, hunters gently dig around to avoid damaging the truffle. Each discovery is a moment of triumph, where humans and nature move in harmony, uncovering the black gems of the earth. There are many ways to harvest honey, but the most common method involves honeycomb frames and an extractor machine. Before the process begins, beekeepers borrow some smoke to communicate with the bees. Not to drive them away, but to trick their survival instinct. The bees believe there's a forest fire, so they focus on gorging on honey and temporarily stop sending attack signals. Once at the hive, each honey-filled frame is carefully lifted out, where the golden wax caps signal that the honey is ripe, with an ideal moisture level of about 18%. After the wax caps are removed, the frames are placed inside a centrifugal extractor. There, the spinning motion flings the honey out of the hexagonal cells without damaging their structure. A biological masterpiece that the bees can reuse almost completely for the next season. Thanks to this delicate process, a healthy colony can produce 2 to 4 harvests per year, without exhausting the bees. Beyond honey harvesting, have you ever been fascinated by any other kind of manual harvest? For me, one of the most mesmerizing sights is watching a skilled tapper carve precise, elegant lines into the bark of a rubber tree to collect its milky sap. This work usually begins before dawn, the time when the latex flows thickest and stays fluid longer thanks to the cool temperature. The sap naturally runs from upper right to lower left, so the tapper must angle the blade at about 45 degrees to optimize the flow. Immediately afterward, a plastic spout is secured with wire at a 30-degree tilt to guide the latex into a small cup. Each cup is only about the size of a palm, so workers must check them frequently to prevent overflow or contamination from rainwater, which could cause the sap to coagulate early, become impure, and lose commercial value. This entire process is a blend of technique, experience, and delicate precision. And perhaps because of that, even today, around 90% of the world's natural rubber is still harvested by hand, preserving the timeless image of dedicated workers tapping rubber trees across vast tropical plantations. The acai berry clusters, hanging high on palm trees that reach 60 to 80 feet, are both a lifeline and a peril for countless working families in Brazil. Throughout the long harvest season, stretching deep into winter, the pickers, known as pecaneiros, must climb the slick, narrow trunks using nothing but a rope looped around their ankles for grip as they scale all the way to the crown. Studies show that over 90% of harvesters have suffered injuries, ranging from sprains and fractures to serious trauma caused by slips and falls. Yet when the berries turn a deep purple, with just the right shine and elasticity, they still climb and cut each fruit cluster with a knife, then carry it pressed against their bodies on the way down. Each bunch can weigh up to 6 kilograms, but only 10 to 15% of that weight is usable pulp for processing. A painstaking price for the exhausting labor repeated dozens of times each day. Year after year, acai harvesting remains one of the great paradoxes of the Amazon. A fruit that depends entirely on human strength and skill, yet fuels one of the fastest-growing superfood markets in the world.